Okay. Hi, my name is Nick, better known as Narukami on the internet. I am the captain and in-game leader for Non-Negative, and today I'm here to provide a gift of giving. And today I'm here to provide a gift for the competitive esports landscape of Valorant. I'm here to provide a document that has changed myself as a player for the better and my team as players for the better. Here, I'm here to provide the QuickBook. The QuickBook originally was created by Masami Duck CS, or Ducky CS2 on Twitter, which I'll be providing the original link to his video talking about the QuickBook up here above me. Here. Yeah, I think it's here. He essentially goes in detail and talks about the QuickBook, of how you need to be having it set up and etc. And we'll probably do a way better job than how I'm going to explain it, so for sure, go check out that video. So without further ado, let's actually get into the meat and potatoes of the QuickBook. At first, let's talk about the first panel here, which is expectations and goals. This original panel, this isn't in the original document that was provided by Masami Duck or Ducky CS2. This wasn't provided by him. This was something that I put together myself, which originally comes from Joseph Lima, who was the previous coach / manager for Party Astronauts and Evil Geniuses, which he explains in his team building and structure document that he put together, talking about how you need to set expectations and goals within your team. So this was something that I put together myself and just quickly outlined. My team and I, we decided to have something like this. We wrote it all down. We wrote down what our expectations are as like players. What do we expect, like about like say ranked warm-ups or aim training or things outside of the game, anything like that. And then our goals just being like what are our goals? Like our goals, we can have like short-term, long-term, and then we can kind of like filter it out and figure out those things there. Next panel, which is map team comps. This is something that I pulled from back in the day when I used to play Overwatch competitively, which I completely reworked it into Valorant. So we have all of our maps in the game, and we have it developed where we have our first comp, second comp, third comp, and then we have our comfort, which our comforts are our comfort picks. So we can sit here, you know, you just take whoever you got, say, let's look at Abyss, or let's just do Ascent. Ascent would be like a better example to use this for. So you sit here and you go, okay, you know, player 3, okay, we have Omen, we have Jet, KO, Sova, and then Killjoy. You could build more and more comps and decide to filter it out as of how you please. The next panel, which is agent pool and maps. This was another thing that I pulled from during my time when I was playing Overwatch competitively. I can't remember the actual original creator for this. This was during a time when I was scrimming and trialing with a bunch of other teams, and there was one team that I landed on who developed something like this. This I basically have carried with me throughout my entire esports careers, whatever you would like to call it. So basically it's pretty self-explanatory. All I need to do is that, you know, you have all your agents here, and then you have your maps, you insert your colors. So, you know, you just sit there and let's say if I was to fill it out, because I'm the main controller for my team, pick the color and then just go, okay, you know, Brim I could put as like good tier, and then like Clove I would put as best as well. Harbor I would kind of consider okay tier. Omen best, and then Viper also for best, and then kind of just continuously like fill out the rest of the document. Maps, you're gonna look at maps in a ranked perspective. You won't look at it in a more like team perspective, because let's say if you are building a team from ranked players, or you're putting together like a premier team, like just pugging out a premier or anything like that, you want to look at it from a ranked aspect rather than an actual overall team scrimming aspect. You can change it to that if you want to, if like you as players are more experienced and you want to be able to kind of like flesh out your map pools. The next tab, we have VODs to watch. This is a tab that I built and developed from myself, where, you know, you sit here, you insert a map, you put that in the map. If you have a specific team you're trying to watch, you just put in the team's name, drop the YouTube, Twitch link, whatever it is. You could go find the VLR link, because, you know, everyone likes to look at VLR and look at stats and yada yada and everything and whatnot. And then you have like notes if you want to write down some notes, being like, oh, well, like I like this comp, or like, oh, look at these rounds, or etc etc etc, and go from there. And then, you know, say you watch the VOD, then you click the button, and then, you know, and it's like, oh, hey, you've watched it. Cool. And next we have the veto prep. I'm not going to go too much into detail. The Masami Duck video, he does it best and explains most of it, but I basically just took the same thing, converted it into Valorant, so now it has, you know, all the Valorant maps and everything, and then you can change Every single time when the map pool changes, all you need to do is you just need to come in here, type in a new name. So, like Lotus is leaving, so Split's coming back, change it, and then it'll just automatically update itself. Goal tracking, short-term oriented. So this is something that I took away from Fet, a Rainbow Six Siege coach who coached Beast Coast Cloud9 to the Manchester Major Champions. This was something that I picked up from one of his documents, or his portfolio, I guess is probably the best way to word it. He put out his like public portfolio and everything, and this was something that I saw in there, and I was like, oh, this is like a pretty cool thing. For my team and I, we do it a little bit differently because we don't look at it as I wouldn't say we base it off of short-term only. We kind of split it into both, where we have short-term and long-term goals put into the same thing. For teams kind of at like the higher levels, so I would say like tier 2, tier 1, they would probably have something like this, where they develop like their short-term goals. So within the week, like this week, let's focus on these specific things. So they insert like on attack, let's work on this, and this. Defense, work on this, and this. And then general, let's work on this, and this. And then everyone has their own individual goals. So you insert like your goals, you can insert your start date, when you started it, we started it, and then you sit there and you go through where it's like, okay, we've been improving it, or we completed it. You put your end date, and then you put in any extra notes, which could kind of help out. Another document, the practice log. So this comes from Sam R, I would say tier 2 CS2 player. His content's amazing. For sure, go check out his content. Links are going to be in the description and everything. For sure, check out his content. This guy is the next like messiah when it comes to teams and how people just need to approach everything. Like, the guy's amazing. The specific document was something that I don't think he ever put together an actual video talking about it. It was from one of his live streams that I remember I was catching, and I kind of like redeveloped it into the QuickBook. So it kind of was just a quick thing to be able to quickly explain it. So most of the time with your team, usually to start off your day, the first thing you're going to do is like it. So it depends. Like if you have a Google Calendar or any of those types of things, you can kind of like skip the today's focus progress of it. But if you don't have that or anything, then essentially you can come in here, open it up, and you go, okay, this is what we're focusing on today. So we're doing a server, we're doing scrims, and then we're gonna like debrief afterwards, which debrief I'll get into right afterwards. Then we have team practice split, so basically during like tournaments and leagues. So in the case of say tier 1, tier 2, I mean I can kind of quote unquote say tier 3, because tier 3, the off-season thing, that doesn't apply to anyone in tier 3, but tier 2, tier 1, that can, and it depends on if teams are like sticking together or people are roster moving or whatever it may be. But during like your main season, you figure out like, okay, these are your weeks, and then this is how you're gonna like determine your weeks, where it's like, okay, we're gonna work on like these maps, and we're gonna like go through the maps. In Premiere, it's a little bit different because Premiere, we have set maps per week. So essentially the way we do it, this isn't wrote down the correct way. I would have to like redo this and everything, but to get the idea across is essentially like you have week 1, so we focus on this map. So say binds week 1. Binds week 1, so then we do a bind scrim, and then if depending on like how many scrims you do in a day, the off-season one explains this really well, but the quote-unquote smart way to do it would be if you are doing 3 scrims a night, but let's say one night you do 3 scrims. You would do 2 of the map that you're playing in Premiere that specific week, so that being, say, bind is what we're talking about, so you scrim bind, and then your third map you can put up as a floater map. So the floater map being something you can focus on the map next week in Premiere. Let's say if that map is like Abyss, for example, put that as your third map, so then you're not getting stale on that map. Or the third map could be a different map where it's like, oh, let's go work on this specific map. Or you could put the third map to be whatever, just so then you have something in there, so you're not, again, being stale on a map, where you're just staying fresh on those maps while you're still heavily focusing on a map. Off season, that explains the other thing, where you have more server time, VOD review, etc. And then your first 3 days of like the week, you'll have like a main map, which will always be your first scrim, and then you cycle through all your other maps for your second scrim, or second or third scrim, depending on how you figure it out. And then towards the end of the week, you do 2 short days of the same map, so this allows for more improvement on other maps. Keeps the scrims stale on a singular map, so you do 2 maps from the primary maps of the 2 weeks before. So essentially you'll do like, say for example, like this is a specific week that you do Ascent Lotus, Ascent Icebox, Ascent Sunset, and then the ending of the week would be like split bind, let's say, for example, or whatever. Then when it comes to map specific, the way that this is supposed to work is you have a specific side, and anything that is considered in the moment, say you guys have like problems or issues or anything like in the middle of the scrim from like your VOD review or debrief or anything else like that. Again, I'll talk more into detail afterwards, but say we have a problem and it's like we need to solve something. You put this under the future tab. So then this is something in the future that we need to work on and develop. Okay. So this would be that. Then in the new tab will be something that would be the new thing we're going to focus on at like the start of like that specific map of whatever side. So that's a new thing. And then the previous tab will basically just be like, okay, these are things that we've already worked on. And then it goes for both sides. So for attack and defense. All right. Now the moment of truth, the best document of them all, which is the debrief document. Debrief document, Samar made a video about this. I will link that video also. You should definitely go watch that video. He does a way better explanation of what I'm going to do to actually talk about it. The best way that I'm going to describe it is you essentially write down your thoughts, your feelings, and everything else about the day of practice. Each of your players, you have a slot, customize these, do whatever you got to do, change colors, do whatever, change whatever you got to do. You have a team performance and a self performance. You rate all these out of 10. So you could do a team performance. How do you think us as a team we performed? And then how do you think you performed by yourself? Then notes, you just write out your feelings. You can sit there and be like, I don't like it when we do this. I don't like it when we do this. I like it when we do this. I think we should keep replicating doing this. So-and-so, I like it that you do this. And I think you need to keep doing this specific thing. So-and-so, like, I don't think you try to crutch this specific thing. The list can go on, right? But you want to make it so it's like constructive criticism for one, giving props where you need to give props. You give props to your teammates, give props to yourself. You keep atmosphere good, and this is a way to basically become better. Solutions tab, where if there's certain things that you guys are talking about, you write your solutions, where if there's a certain problem, whatever, you can talk about it, come up with a solution, and then this is where this wraps back into the practice log, right? You play a specific map, or whatever it is, you come back into here and then you route it into a map. And so then you could have that thing cycling. The next tab is the benchmark tab. So the benchmark tab, this is a huge shout out to Magic Zara, who used to play on Job Life or JL or whatever it is. I will link the tweet in the description below. I'll even show it on screen here. His amazing work of how he outlined specific things. He essentially talked about creating a benchmark about if you're doing exercise, how much exercise you're doing, how much sleep you're getting, if you're warming up, how long you're warming up for, and then your mood of throughout the day, and then your mood during practice, and then what's your focus levels. And then you could write notes about your explanations of focus. So if you're focused, why were you focused? And then you put these things in. Next tab is a reflection tab. This is also the mega meat potatoes. Magic Zara had a specific one for this. Jay Trey, I think his name is. Tweet will be on the screen here again. He has something along the lines of this, but it's more advanced, and probably in the future I will incorporate kind of his style of thing into this, so then you can kind of get more data, more reps, and more things there. But again, Masami Duck, WCS2, he, in the video about the QuickBook, he explains it really well, but the only difference is I added a couple other extra things here. So in this, we have our game information, which we have our date, so you put in your date, and then your type, which you have basically your type of match, scrim, whatever it is. So you have your officials, your fundamental scrims, strategy scrims, and performance scrims. Mungus the Giant, I'm pretty sure that's his name. Tweet will be on the screen as well for this. I'll link his thread in the description below also. He has a specific section in the thread that talks about your specific scrims, your fundamental, your strategy, and performance scrims. Those are the three things that are really, really important. And listen, and I'm going to say this now, people in North America, learn how to scrim correctly. Please, for the love of God. Because I cannot tell you how many times people are way too focused on thinking that they have to win scrims. You're not there to win. You are there to learn and there to improve. You're there to fix things. You're there to solve anything it may be. You pick a topic and it's those are things you got to work on. Those are the fundamentals. Those are your fundamental scrims. Those are the things that you work on, right? Strategy scrims, those are for strats. You're there to figure out your executes, your defaults, and just defense setups. Those are your strategy focus-esque scrims. And the performance scrims, those are the ones that you're trying to win. Plain and simple. You sit there, you put in that information, say whatever it is, you put in your information. Then what you do is you have your agent, You have your agent here. This will constantly get updated. As I said, this QuickBook will be open to anybody. Anybody can get this. This will constantly get updated when new maps start entering into the pool, into the game, when new agents start coming out, etc., etc., etc. And then again, you put in your map, and then basically you fill in your data. So you can fill in your data. So let's say, you know, we played in an official. I'm playing Omen on Abyss. I go say 14, 3. Or no, 3 is a bad number. Let's say 14, 11, and 7. Okay. It will automatically calculate your plus minus. You put in your ACS. Let's just make up a number. Let's say my ACS was like 181 or something like that. You put that in. How many first kills I got? I got 2 first kills. In say this is official as well. My rating's like a 1.17, let's say. You put in your rating, it has all that there, and then a pistols. You put in if we won our attack pistol or defense pistol or attack pistol, and then how many rounds. So we, you know, we started on attack first, so you know we 7-5, and then we 6-3'd. So they'll calculate all your data in here, where then it'll calculate everything for you. My camera is totally not in the way for this, which let me, so you can see on right hand side of the screen, you see it calculates all the data there. The data, it'll calculate everything for you, and then you kind of just build up. You accumulate all the numbers and everything, and then everything kind of just goes from there essentially. So to now go to the next part, then now we have the actual part, which again, Masami Duck explains it really well, but I'll kind of just briefly go over this. So you have your map. Everyone, you're going to have to kind of like go through your own thing and everything to figure out like your average defaults, your callouts, everything. Some maps, I have some of them for, like Ascent, for example. So huge shout out to Anders. Go subscribe to his Patreon. His Patreon's amazing. Even Coach Potatoes as well. Their Patrons are amazing. If you want to get like better at the game, look at like understand strategies, a bunch of other things, definitely go check out their content. Links will also be in the description as well. For sure, check them out. For your positions, like you can sit here and be like, oh, hey, what's our like default positions, right? Defense, attack, like you have different defaults, you have different things, et cetera, right? But you have just kind of like, what would be the standard? What would be your standard thing where if this was just like your one specific default, you'll write down like, what is your positions? Let's say you have your B anchor, A anchor, you have, say, your change this to B support, opper, and say A support. Let's say if that's what it is. Let's say that's the example. You put that on the map and everything. Same with attack side, you do the same thing. Then you have map complexity, which your map complexity, again, is you sit there and you look at this and be like, hey, like, what is our level of Abyss? Or Ascent, or Bind, or Breeze, or Split, or any of those maps. You insert this in. You go, okay, like Abyss, you know, oh, it's like it's a brand new map, you know, 0 to 1 defaults. Okay, it's a 1 for us, right? Or you go sit here and go, hey, we have a couple defaults, we have some strats. We have some big and small strategies here and there, but we need more reps on like our protocols, our rotates, theory of the map, et cetera, then, you know, you can move that up to a 2. Say you're just winning out. Say you're winning out, you're really comfortable on the map, you have a bunch of strats, your protocols are really fleshed out, you can like anti-strat people on the map, you're very comfortable to pick it. Like if you get put into map vetoes, then, you know, put it as a 3. And you kind of just like go through there. And again, that's through like all the maps. All the maps are all like that in the QuickBook. So again, this is just the example. We have the strategy section. Masami Duck explains this a little bit differently because like Counter-Strike and Valorant, you can kind of say one-to-one games, but they are different in their own regard because of utility and a bunch of other things, and there's a bunch of other things that go on in the game. The way how I look at it is that it's supposed to be a QuickBook, so it's supposed to be quick, easy, and simple. Just be like, it's supposed to be less than a sentence of like what the strat is or like what you're supposed to do, right? But some people might not be good enough to be able to understand like all your protocols and remember all those specific things, right? Like that list can just go on and on and on and on and on, and it just like, you basically go down the rabbit hole. So the way how I kind of do it is that I kind of write out all the protocols for something. So say for like defense, where it's like, oh, if like the opponent does this, like we should do this, and like I write these things down inside of like our strat of what we do. So, you know, say like, let's say it's like a 2-1 or sorry 2-1-2 default, right? Let's say this is what the case is, and this is like our full buy. Player 1 will start B, hold B main line, and then it'd be like mid-round, if nothing, can scale to get a deeper line with B support or push through for flank, and then that'd be it, right? Again, Masami Duck explains like even like the slash lines or whatever, those are like your phases. Now again, in Valorant CS, same thing, like you can't predict the phases of the game. So you gotta flesh out your protocols, flesh out like all these different things so you know like what is your if then.
whatever your if then is, then you kind of do that. Again, this is a little bit wonky here. So what you're gonna have to do is that as a team, if you fill out all your strats, fill all these other types of things, everyone should make a duplicate copy of the QuickBook themselves. So then what they can do is that they can click here and they can click the drop down, they can highlight their name. Because if everyone's inside of the QuickBook at once and everyone just sits here and tries to click this, it'll change it, and then everyone will, like, people won't see their name highlighted, so it kind of just gets lost. And then on top of that, you put in notes, you put in like any little tiny notes and everything, and then you have your attempt, success, and win percentage, which I need to camera again so you guys can see this. So yeah, so you have your notes, attempts, success, and win percentage. So let's say, again, that was our 2-1-2 default. We call that. We've done it. We've attempted once. We successfully did what we had to do for it. So, hey, we did our job. But on defense and attack, it's like two different things, the way how I look at it. And the same thing as Basami Duck explains it, is that on attack, everything could go to plan. Like your strat, everything can go to plan of exactly what you want it to be, right? It can go to plan, you know, you can get onto the site, you can do everything you need to do, and then it all just falls apart. You lose the post plan. The round is technically still successful because you got onto the site and you planted the spike. So it still is a success, but you just lost the post plan. You kind of have to think about it that way. And then for defense, kind of the way how I look at it is that it's like we attempt it, we do it. If we lose the site, but we win the round, then it's successful. But if we lose the round, then I consider it not successful. Next tab as well, we have the debrief solutions abyss. What you do is that you, as the IGL coach, whoever it is, you'll come in here and then you'll essentially filter all of your solutions of through your debrief. Like say you talked about the like on abyss, for example, these are solutions that we need to work on and everything. You can put this into here so it's easy for you to grab, and then you can then come to the practice log and then put it into here. So then you can kind of have two different areas that can track what are your solutions. That is essentially the QuickBook. This is basically a document that my team and we have been using for 2 years now. Yeah, about 2 years now. We've been using this document, or has it been 2 years? I don't even remember. Maybe it's been 2 years. Maybe it's one. I don't know. I'm like super lost in the sauce here for this. Only for 1 year. I lied. It was only 1 year. I totally lied. I don't know. I'm going senile about it. But again, this document, it's been amazing. It's helped out a lot. It's kind of like come to a point where we get to understand each other. We get to talk to each other. We get to solve our problems. People are too caught up in the thing of just not trying to talk out problems. You know, people are too quick for quick success. They just want success. They want the get rich quick scheme. Like that's what people want. They don't want to learn. They don't want to go through the adversity. They don't want to go through the struggles. They just don't want to talk it out, right? And that is how you're going to get better, is if you actually talk it out as a team and you solve those like problems and issues together. You know, you overcome the adversity, you get over the mountain, you climb the mountain together, right? You climb the mountain together, and it's just like you have to just be upfront and honest with people. You know, you have to tell people how it is. You get butthurt by it, you know what? It happens, right? It happens, but you have to know is just being like, you know what? People got to say it to your face, and you got to tell you, be like, hey, you know what? I don't like it when you do this. I don't like it when you do this. Or you got to change this, or you got to do these things or whatever. And then that's like what's going to make you a better player, but that's also what's going to make you a better team, like at the end of the day. Again, this is the QuickBook. This is the one specific document that has basically changed myself as a player for the better and has changed my team for the better. And this is something I just wanted to share with basically everyone in the competitive Valorant landscape. So again, thanks very much for watching. If you want to see more content like this in the future, please give it a like, subscribe, drop a comment below or whatever. And yeah, thank you again, and have yourselves a wonderful day.